There are reports here that the Clippers are looking to move James Harden, and they're taking some calls on that. And they're trying to find a deal by the Thursday deadline. This is coming from Shams Charania, of course. It's done. This is done. Monty, thank you. But Monty, Steve is doing updates. You might as well come do an update up here now.
So who is it? What's the deal?
I got to look it up now. Ooh. Oh, okay. So that's all right. So the Clippers are trading James Harden to Cleveland for Darius Garland and a second-round pick. These are according to Shams. So I'm not – that's a good – I know James Harden has been good. Now, Monty, you're the resident Clipper fan. Thumbs up, thumbs down? Thumbs down. She's sad about it. But this is what he does. You just said it. This is what James Harden – I go somewhere.
But you got to do this. I'm serious. When somebody doesn't want to be there, I'm sorry. I'm just can't. He doesn't want to be there. He wants to get paid. They're not going to give him the $80 million or $100 million he wants. Thank you very much. And you know what? And you just got to move on. You're not winning anything with James Harden, right?
No.
So what would be the purpose on holding on to him? You're not winning anything. You're barely lucky if you make the playoffs. It doesn't make sense. The Clippers did the right thing. As soon as he said he don't want to be there, we'll help you.
That's a good – and by the way, James Harden in name is a bigger person than Darius Garland. But Darius Garland is a heck of a player. He's been an all-star. He's much younger. He's still a capable scorer. That's a good get for them. And that wasn't really working. Garland and Donovan Mitchell wasn't working the way they had hoped over there. Cleveland almost too redundant at times. Two ball-dominant guys who can score. And so that's a good get for the Clippers now. To get a little younger, to get a little bit more energy, get a little bit more effort on both ends of the ball. But James Harden, this is a bigger conversation you just mentioned with James Harden. James Harden will end up going down as the greatest offensive nuclear weapon the NBA has ever seen. What I mean by that is, for a 6-year period, give or take, James Harden was one of the greatest weapons this NBA had ever seen. You're talking about a guy who led the league in scoring and assists in the same year, a perennial MVP candidate, a guy who will light you up from all three levels, right? You want the deep ball, you want the mid-range, you want free throws and layups. I mean, he was – and then not to mention, again, dropping dimes. James Harden, his mid, those Houston Rocket runs were incredible, but it always faded badly. It always ended badly. You got bad playoff
That's why
performances.
all that stuff you just said is meaningless.
That's why I mean he'll be the biggest waste. It's like if you just saw 82
But none of that stuff that he did, really, because of his postseasons was so horrific and meltdowns that you can't even – and he was on 10 teams. And every team – James Harden, seriously, as a player – has really hurt just the way you look at him. I just can't. What are you? He's been on all these teams. It's always the same scenario, circumstance. He hasn't been able to come through. And for all the talent, it's going to be James Harden was a total waste. I mean, a total waste.
Yeah, I mean, and what's crazy about this is it begins, Rob G and Rob, in the beginning with the Thunder. They get to the finals, that young team, he's Sixth Man of the Year, and he plays terribly in the finals. Remember that?
He was terrible. Leading up to that, I was like, this James Harden is unbelievable. You remember that?
Dude coming off the bench?
I was like, oh, my God, who is this guy? And then he turned into stinker during like Sam Darnold's going to do in the Super Bowl, but he turned into stinker in the NBA Finals.
Dude, they get let's go back. So let's go from the beginning, what I just mentioned there, and you say to yourself, all right, when he was young. Right here in the finals, the stage is too big. You can understand that. Then let's go to the most recent. Let's do the other end of the sandwich. Last season, Harden had 7 points in a 2 of 8 shooting performance and a decisive Game 7 versus the Nuggets. You beat the Nuggets. Remember, the Clippers were so they've become a great story. They were playing well. They had some great players. He had kind of redeemed himself a little bit, starting to really pick up his performance. And he goes, 7 points. You only took 8 shots in a Game 7 versus the Nuggets and who you are and what you meant to that team. And you can go on and on. 2017, Game 6, 10 points. This is peak Harden against the Spurs when he were with the Rockets. Remember, they played a horrible game, that one. Game 7.
What was that? He was on that team that missed 27 straight threes.
Exactly. So
just think about what I just said to you.
20. At some point, you go, you know what? This just ain't working, Monty. This just ain't working tonight. And so James Harden, to me, it would be one of the most wasted talents the NBA had ever seen when you're talking about legacy and what matters. Yes, you will always talk about he had an MVP season, was runner-up a few times, heck of a run with the Rockets, and what a nuclear offensive weapon. But when we talk legacy, when we talk what guys meant when it was crunch time, he failed drastically multiple times.
So could you call him James Softon?
Ooh,
I'm just saying.
Well, first he was James Harden. No D in his name because he wouldn't play defense. And then now you just like this James Harden, James Softon. It's kind of funny. So, yeah, it's just disappointing. But, again, the Clippers – so now what do you say this Clipper run? You remember that he left Houston to go play with the Nets. That fails epically, right? That doesn't work out. Then he has a reunited, and it feels so good with Daryl Morey, who was running the ship with the Rockets.
We're Philly.
I mean, he goes to Philly. He leaves to go to Philly, Daryl Morey, and then he goes to Philly.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
right.
and he goes to Philly, and that fails drastically. So at some point, my gosh, James Harden, like wherever you go, it doesn't work out. It ends up collapsing, and it ends badly.
Very, very, very badly.
Are you up now?
I think I'm up now. I know how to work the computer over there.
Did you do it?
Yes, I did. See,
and he was that one. He was sweating bullets. He thought he was going to ruin our
That's why I get
show.
the Schmedium bucks, Rob. You
That's
know
all right.
that.
All right.
You know that.
But you'll get a extra biscuit tonight.
That you're not paying for? So, yeah, Scott and Don and Julie will take care of it, Rob.
Hey,
get whatever
give
you
Rob
want.
G some extra food. He deserves it. He saved our show today.
Look, I think that obviously James Harden has become a punchline, throughout his career, right? His playoff failures are well documented. I think that, if you'll allow me, you're looking at this James Harden thing from the wrong perspective. Because rather than focusing on the negative, like, hey, he did it again, he found a way to burn his bridge and find a new team. This would be the sixth team in his NBA career. Mm-hmm. What about, instead of LeBron James or Kevin Durant being known as like the poster men, the front men of the player empowerment era, has any player flexed his muscle more than James Harden in his NBA career? He knew he wanted to get paid by Oklahoma City. They didn't want to give it to him. He said, all right, trade me. Goes to Houston. Runs its course in Houston. They had a very good team. The closest anybody came to beating those Steph KD Warriors.
Okay, but here's why.
I think we might have the same perspective.
Here's why the James Harden is he came away with nothing.
That you beat me to it.
No, Rob G.
That's fair. That's totally.
He came away. So you're right. But some of those other guys you're talking about who pushed their way to
it landed rings.
They at least won. He went everywhere and didn't come away with anything.
I guess what I want to say is, for everybody who says, don't let these teams dictate, like people are getting mad at what's going on with Giannis.
Yeah.
Giannis, the Bucks are ruining your career. You got to get traded. Right? Damian Lillard, the Blazers ruined your career. You got to get traded.
And boy, was that a disaster.
James Harden has figured out a way, by hook or by crook, to make sure that he gets his money and he ends up where he wants to go.
But so then I think that the difference is, and I get what you're saying, I think the difference is people are saying good riddance to him.
Right.
The Pelicans didn't want to lose Anthony Davis, but he was like, look, it's just that time I'm ready to go like that.
And once he didn't want to be there, you just can't hold on to it.
Exactly.
You can't make so
much. But there also with James Harden, it ends up getting where teams like, you know what, fine, good riddance, or it's.
But then another team bites the apple. So
well,
he's obviously. He's using his talent, even at this age.
There's only 400 NBA players, Rob G, and guess what? 200 of them can't play. And I'm talking about
respect
at that level. Yeah,
right. At that level, you know what I mean? Like seriously.
Right.
So you're talking about a planet that has 200 guys who can do what those guys do, and I think that's why they always.
He's probably one of 30 who can do it at that
high level. And at one point was in the set, it was a top 3 player for.
You know how many guys play basketball, and you're saying that only 30 or 40 guys can do it? Mm-hmm. That's how specialized. That's why they're making the money they make, and that's why people bend over backwards for them, even when they piss you off and you want to discard them and say, let's be done with him.
And they know it. And again, we always talk about this, the difference between pitchers and home run hitters in baseball. And in the NFL, you're talking about quarterbacks. basketball, when you get a LeBron, when you get a Shaq, when you get a Kobe, they control so much on both sides, right? That's why the weightiness of them matters. And with James Harden now going to, by the way, the other side of this, him going to Cleveland, I don't really like it for them. What's been the issue with Cleveland why you don't buy Donovan Mitchell-led team? The heart, the toughness. Are they going to show up at crunch time in the post? It's why you talking about, the Knicks, you ain't really worried about, them. And
they've turned it around, though.
They have, but people, ultimately, anything can happen. We know that. But I'm saying that the reason why people
I give Cleveland
buy
credit, though, for the idea that what happened last year, and they had injuries, too, so I'm not going to. But they decided that they're not going to just
run it back,
that they want to add some people who have put up numbers, done things, or whatever.
For all of James Harden's issues, he plays.
He plays.
Even when he's heavy, he plays.
That time when he was with the Rockets, when he won it out,
he was on that Shaq program.
He looked like he had a fat man suit on. I couldn't believe how fat he was.
But that was to your point of getting him his way out.
Yes, he did.
That was what got him to the Nets.
So, okay, real quick. You might not like what the Cavs are doing now, but this could be a precursor for something even bigger.
I believe that.
I will tell you about it next.
And you will do that. Don't be out here teasing on our. We tease. We do you text the teasers. You don't do the teasers.
Unbelievable. Rob G. Is this the Rob G show? What are we doing here, Kel?